in your eyes. Density 1 to 7. We are density. We are density. We are density. Yeah, yeah. Density 1 to 7. Density 1 to 7.
이 이야기는 특별할 것 없던 나의 내일에 갑자기 네가 나타나면서 시작되었다. 나의 긴 생에서 가장 특별한 찰나가 될 네가.
또 이번 리패키지 앨범의 컨셉은 9명의 뱀파이어잖아요. 네. 뱀파이어가 된 저희가 사랑하는 여자를 만나서 인간이 되고 싶어 하는데 뭔가 이루지 못해서
The rest of the video consists of my own personal interpretation of the song, partially resulting from my own overthinking and overplaying it. None of these thoughts and opinions were confirmed by the actual producers who are behind this modern piece of art.
We cannot mention favorite without mentioning the whistle. With that, you may have noticed a pattern in the melody. Well,
so I think before we dive in for a second lesson, we should explain why we keep saying descending fifths, descending fifths. What is descending fifths, Kevin?
Oh, goodness. What is the chord progression? So notice how my left hand is moving in these chunks that sort of feel equal distance.
Yeah, they stay the same.
Yeah,
basically.
at least in between every two notes. So it would be and this is a descending fifth, and when I go back up, it's technically the same as going a fifth down. So it actually is something like this. But that sounds awful. So we sort of scrunch it up a bit. And it helps our ears too. I hit a bunch of wrong notes, but they're crunchy.
Once you hear this progression, you kind of know where the melody is gonna head, and so it feels very comforting to be like, ah, yes, it hits that note that the chord is playing. Oh, and then it hits that note the chord is playing, and it feels wonderful.
so yes, the whistle uses descending fifths, making it sound familiar even to those who are listening to it for the first time. Just like how the story of a vampire falling in love with a human has long been a romantic cliché in movies, television shows, and the like. To dissect it even further, alone has a positive sound to it. However, as the whistle goes on, it uses the same pattern but with lower notes when compared to the previous part, giving a hint of sadness. The whistle proceeds until it reaches its last note, which gives off a feeling of unresolvedness because the note used did not feel like home. Also, the vocal layer with Toyoung, Mark, and Jaehyun reflects that growing sense of subtle sadness as the whistle plays. There are a lot of things going on in this part of the instrumental, but there is a specific layer I want us to focus on, which I personally call the layer. This sound is repeated 4 times, with the first 2 starting on the first beat in every other measure.
You're
Just like the first two, the third one also hits the first beat after one measure of rest, but this time, it was chopped in order to make the layer sound less repetitive. The fourth one used the same chopped pattern, but was the only one that hit on the third beat of the succeeding measure. Now, looking at the layer while considering the story as well, the first two may represent the repetitive life of a vampire because of its regular pattern. So, when the third appeared, it seemed like it was showing how meeting the girl initially gave a bit of a change within the vampire's life. The fourth has the one with the most changes as compared to the first two, which may then represent the total destruction of his life's original cycle that was caused by this newfound bond with the girl. Notice as well that the fourth also emphasizes a part of Taeyong's lines, which translates to shattered, making a subtle effect to present the doomness that is somehow similar to the very well-known section of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony in C minor. For the second half of the verse, for every first beat of every other measure, a chord is played on an organ, an instrument known to be long associated with vampires.
Hands down. Take that.
The different sounds for the majority of this section has a simple and repetitive flow, but near its end, an additional layer of chopped sounds is added, which simulates that sudden confession of intense emotion by Haechan.